Welcome back, everyone, to your trusted channel where we break down the latest updates you absolutely need to know, especially when it concerns your money, your well-being, and your future. Today, we are diving deep into one of the biggest and most concerning stories coming out of South Africa this May 2025. It's about SASSA, the South African Social Security Agency, and the shocking news that thousands of social grants have been withheld this month. Whether you receive the Older Persons Grant, Disability Grant, Child Support Grant, or rely on the R350 SRD payments, this update could directly affect you or someone you care about. We're going to break down what's happening, why it's happening, who's being affected, and most importantly what you can do about it right now. So if you found that your grant hasn't landed in your account, or you're hearing rumors of delays and cancellations, stay tuned. We are uncovering all the details. To begin with, let's take a look at the core of the issue: SASSA's unexpected withholding of thousands of payments that were scheduled for early May. Typically, the monthly cycle of grant disbursements follows a clear schedule, and millions of South Africans depend on it religiously. Whether it's to buy food, pay for transportation, medicine, or take care of school expenses, these grants are not luxuries, they are essential to everyday survival. So when people woke up this month expecting to receive their grant, only to see their accounts empty or get vague messages of payment pending or under review, panic set in immediately. According to early reports and official statements from SASSA, the withholding of grants this month stems from what they describe as irregularities in the verification process. Now, that might sound like just a bureaucratic phrase, but what it really means is that they flagged thousands of accounts for further inspection before releasing funds. These so-called irregularities include anything from mismatches in banking details, inconsistencies in personal identification, and in some cases, allegations of fraud. But here's where it gets even more frustrating: many of the people whose grants were stopped insist that they haven't changed a thing. Their bank details are correct, their ID numbers match, and they have submitted all required documents. This has led to a massive public outcry. Social media platforms have been flooded with posts and videos from affected individuals. Some have shared screenshots of messages they received from SASSA, while others have filmed their long waits outside local offices trying to get clarity. What's even more alarming is the demographic of those impacted: elderly citizens, people with disabilities, single mothers, all among the most vulnerable in the population. For many, missing even 1 month's grant can mean going hungry, missing rent, or not having transport money to collect chronic medications. The ripple effect is enormous. Now, SASSA has come forward with a statement acknowledging the delays and disruptions. They confirmed that more than 62,000 grant payments were put on hold for May while they conduct what they term as routine audits and re-verification checks. These are meant to ensure that funds are only going to eligible individuals. They've also stated that the goal is not to punish the innocent but to protect the integrity of the grant system. The agency claims that grant fraud has been on the rise and that tightening controls is necessary. They are specifically citing issues with people submitting multiple applications under different names or using the bank accounts of deceased individuals to continue receiving funds. But again, for the thousands of people whose grants have been stopped, this explanation offers little comfort, especially if they've done nothing wrong. In fact, many beneficiaries argue that they have already been vetted multiple times, especially during the rollout of the R350 SRD grant, which required monthly reassessments. They are saying, why now? Why again? And why without warning? That's another crucial part of the story. There was no broad public notice before these grants were withheld. People only found out when the money failed to arrive. In response to the public backlash, SASSA has announced that they are opening a fast-track dispute resolution mechanism for those affected. This includes a dedicated hotline, email support, and the option to visit local offices to appeal the withholding. But let's be honest, getting through to SASSA isn't always easy. Long queues, overwhelmed phone lines, and slow email replies have left many feeling hopeless and ignored. And for rural residents or those without internet access, it's even worse. Some don't even know why their grants were stopped, they're simply left in the dark. What's more, the SASSA system's digital component like the online SRD portal has experienced glitches this month. Users have reported issues logging in, incorrect statuses being shown, and even blank profiles where data used to be. This has added another layer of confusion and frustration. Some people who were previously approved for the R350 grant now see their status as pending or declined, with no reason provided. And when they try to update their banking information or contact details, the system either rejects the input or crashes altogether. These tech issues are undermining trust in a system that's supposed to be reliable and efficient. Meanwhile, civil society organizations are calling for immediate transparency and accountability. Advocacy groups like Black Sash and the Community Advocacy Network are demanding that SASSA release a full breakdown of the affected grants, including the types of grants impacted, the provinces hardest hit, and the steps being taken to resolve the crisis. They argue that it's not enough to blame fraud or system errors. The agency must acknowledge that its current approach is failing the very people it's supposed to help. Let's talk about how this might affect you directly. If you're a grant recipient and haven't received your payment this May, the first thing to do is check your SASSA status online. Even though the portal has had issues, try accessing it during off-peak hours. If it shows under review or pending, you might be one of the affected individuals. Next, double-check that your banking information is correct and up to date. SASSA has stated that one of the most common reasons for payment delays is outdated or mismatched bank details. If you changed your phone number recently, that could also affect your verification process. If your information checks out and you still haven't received your grant, it's time to contact SASSA directly. Use the official hotline 860-1011 or send an email to grantinquiries@sassa.gov.za. Be sure to include your full name, ID number, and a clear description of your issue. You can also visit your nearest SASSA office in person, though be prepared for long queues. Bring all relevant documentation, your ID, proof of bank account, and any correspondence from SASSA. If possible, arrive early in the morning and consider going on a weekday that's less busy, like Tuesday or Wednesday. And for those who haven't been affected but want to be prepared, now is a good time to take proactive steps. Make sure all your personal details are up to date in the SASSA system. Keep records of every application, approval notice, and communication you receive. Take screenshots of your grant status, especially after each monthly update. Save all emails and SMS messages. This documentation can be crucial if your grant is suddenly stopped in the future. Now let's address another major concern: when will payments resume for those who've been affected? According to the latest word from SASSA officials, reviews are expected to be completed within 14 to 21 working days, but that timeline is not guaranteed. If additional documents are requested during the review, the process could take even longer. In the meantime, some people may be eligible for back pay, meaning that once the grant is approved, they will receive the amount owed for the missed month. But again, this depends on the nature of the hold and whether the recipient is ultimately found to be eligible. There's also talk in Parliament right now about whether SASSA should receive additional funding to upgrade its digital infrastructure. Lawmakers are debating the idea of creating a more responsive and user-friendly system that can handle higher traffic, offer real-time updates, and automate some of the manual processes that are currently causing delays. Until that happens, however, we are likely to continue seeing these kinds of issues crop up, especially during high-volume periods like the beginning of the month. So, what's the bigger picture here? This SASSA crisis reveals a troubling truth: the social safety net in South Africa, while essential and far-reaching, is fragile. Millions of people depend on it, and even a minor disruption can have devastating consequences. The fact that thousands of grants can be withheld without prior notice, without detailed explanations, and with very limited recourse is deeply concerning. It shows that while the intent of the system is good, the execution still has serious flaws. For the recipients, it's not about policy, it's about survival. This also raises broader questions about trust in government services. If the poorest and most vulnerable can't rely on monthly payments they've been promised, what does that say about the state's commitment to its people? How can recipients plan their lives, pay their bills, and support their families when the system is this unpredictable? The lack of communication, in particular, has eroded confidence. It's not just about the money, it's about the feeling of being heard, respected, and valued by the institutions that are supposed to serve you. On a more hopeful note, there are some signs that change may be coming. In addition to the fast-track appeals process and the digital upgrades under consideration, several advocacy organizations are preparing to take legal action if necessary. They argue that withholding grants without proper justification or notification could be a violation of constitutional rights. Legal challenges may force SASSA to implement better safeguards and improve transparency going forward. And public pressure is having an effect too already. Members of Parliament are asking tough questions, demanding audits, and calling for emergency relief for those who've gone without payment this month. So, if you're watching this and feeling overwhelmed, confused, or frustrated, know that you are not alone. This is a national issue, and your voice matters. Share your story. Contact your local representative. Join online groups where people are pooling resources, sharing information, and organizing support. Together, we can push for a better system, one that doesn't just work on paper but actually works for the people it's meant to serve. Before we wrap up, let's go over a quick checklist to help you if your grant was withheld this May. First, visit the SASSA website or use the SRD portal to check your status. Second, confirm that all your personal and banking details are correct. Third, reach out to SASSA through their hotline, email, or local office to lodge a formal complaint or appeal. Fourth, gather and save all documentation that supports your case. And finally, stay updated by subscribing to channels like this one, where we bring you the latest news and actionable advice that affects your life. We'll be following this story closely and will bring you any new updates the moment they become available. If you haven't already, hit that like button to show your support, and make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next update. We are committed to keeping you informed, empowered, and equipped to navigate these challenging times. Thank you for watching, and take care until next time.